Welcome back. Thanks for joining me again as I work on this K-Truck. Now in the last video I did some upgrades to the headlights and things like that. Mostly that's all I'm going to be doing today is cosmetic type stuff. Just the little things that make a big difference. Now ever since I got this truck, the side view mirrors have been kind of annoying. They don't stay in place anywhere they go, and I thought I could fix them. You put them up and they flop right back down, so I tightened up that screw only to find out that the mechanism inside is broken. I was going to try to put something in there and fix it myself to make them hold tension, but then I went to the other side. Somebody has already done a job on this side, drilled holes through the trim pieces, and this mirror itself, as you can see, it's not in great shape. It's deteriorating. So I went on eBay and I bought a set of replacement made in Japan mirrors. These are not OEM, but they are replacements that people over in Japan use a lot. This was about $91 for both the left and the right, and that's really not a bad price if you look at other sets of mirrors that are made in Japan. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these on. Should be real simple, just a couple screws on each side. Also, I love it when Japanese parts are wrapped up in Japanese newspapers. So cool. Just pop this trim piece off. Well, I say that. There you go. Use a little screwdriver or a knife. Then use a big old Phillips head and take these two screws out. This is the stock mirror. This is the replacement. The replacement does not have this trim cover. It just has black screws that go in there. Also, on these, I translated these with the app on my phone. These say do not use this rubber. See, I would have thought to use this rubber piece and pull that off, but it says do not use that. This goes without the rubber piece. But before I install these, now's a good time to clean up all this gunk that's accumulated behind the mirrors. With this clean enough, this should be able to just install right in its place using the two screws provided. Now this side should hopefully be the same as the other. That was a quick and easy little upgrade. And it looks like this mirror had already been replaced, and it says made in Japan, just like this one is, and it has the holes instead of the trim piece. So this was already an aftermarket unit, and this one already held tighter than the factory one. So I'm pretty happy with this. It'll be good to finally see who's driving beside me. If you noticed in one of my last videos, I had a different shift knob on here. I love shift knobs and changing them out. But the thing with these aftermarket shift knobs is they just don't fit down as low as the factory knobs. And the thing is, even though this feels good, it feels too tall. And it's going to get in the way of the radio once I change that out. So I've got this idea to make a lower shift knob that will be lower that I can modify more often. So first thing I got to do is figure out what thread this is on the top. All right, so interestingly enough, the thread on the gear shifter is the same as my lug nuts. So that kind of makes it easy because I know that this is metric 12 by 1.25. So this is a Mazda Scrum or 96 Suzuki Carry. But as you can see, that thread's on. So now that I know the thread, let's go to the next part of the plan. The gear shift lever had some kind of Loctite in the threads, so I used my torch to burn that off, and then I took a factory steel lug nut and I threaded it down as far as it would go so I can figure out how much room I have for what I'm about to build. Now, because I have a thing for bikes, I have lots of bike parts around, and I have lots of extra handlebars. So the next step is I'm going to take a handlebar, and I'm going to find one that the lug nut fits into. Some are thicker wall, some are thinner wall, but this one actually fits just perfectly. Now, bicycle handlebars are a standard 7/8, and that's what size grips fit on a handlebar. So if I weld this to this and cut it off the right length, I can slide on any bicycle grip I want to, and I can change it whenever it gets worn out, or if I just want something new by just changing a grip. And grips are pretty cheap. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure and cut this off where I want it, and then weld this right into the top here. After some really bad welding and some grinding, this is what I've come up with. So let's go see how it fits. Back in the truck, you can see that now this will thread on. But the cool thing about it, if you want to make one for yourself, is if you want a tall shifter, it will actually thread on this way as well. So you can have one of those great big, you know, tractor trailer shifters. So you can switch it up. Now I just need to find a grip that I like. Now that I have my dirty grip, I just line it up and slide it on there. Yep. Oh. Perfect. Time to change the shift knob. My truck only has rubber floor mats, factory there and there. What I don't like is that it leaves this hump in the middle exposed. Now I already took that out, and because it's steel, I cleaned it up and I covered it with bed liner. But I still, you see the white around it and everything. So I'm attempting to make a full mat to go in here that'll go over the hump and cover it all. I took a piece of scrap paper and I put it over the hump and I laid it down and I traced it and cut it out as good as possible. Then I'm taking out both mats and placing them in here, and I'm going to cut mine out. What this is this is the mat out of the back seat of a like 2018 Ford F-150. Somebody gave this to me. So I'm going to try to see if I can make one full mat to go in there. Because of the way this hump is shorter in the front and taller in the back, it makes an odd shape. So the lines on the mat are going to have to be crooked, and maybe those, I don't know, it doesn't matter. This is the way it has to be laid out. I tried to make it as even as possible. Now that I've got it laid out to where I think it's going to work, I'm going to trace it, cut it out, and see if it fits. It fits pretty well. This is the first test fit. You can see I didn't cut a big groove like the factory right back there. Just cut one slit. Got to cut that hole out for the accelerator stop. But that's a mistake right there. I can't fix that. It's going to take a while, I think, for it to lay down real flat into there, but I think it covers really well. And I'm happy with this. These chains in the bed are great for what they do, but every time you ride down the road and hit a bump, they clang, clang, and bang. To try to remedy the noise, I bought this PET expandable wire loom. It's kind of like a Chinese finger trap, and this thing frays on the ends if you don't burn it shut. So I need to cut some off of this roll long enough for this chain and burn the ends. Now I got this on Amazon. 25 foot cost me 12 bucks. So I got enough to do these again and again. So let's see if I can cut and burn some and make these chains stop rattling. This one's a pretty quick and easy little DIY. Now I put this one on as a test last week and rode around with it, and when I went over bumps I could only hear one chain banging. Even though it makes some noise there, on the road it takes out all the noise. So I think these will work. I just don't know how long and if these ends will come unfrayed or if I have to keep burning them. But as for right now, I think that's a quick and easy little DIY. And I think it looks a lot better too. All right, I think it's about time I wrap this video up. The few things that you've seen done in this video were done actually a while back because we got sidetracked. And when I say we, I mean me and my son. This is his car, and his engine spun a bearing on the crank, and we had to build a new engine and put it in this car, and that's taken weeks. And so now I need to finish up this K-Truck video so that we can go ahead and start the next one. Besides the mirrors and the shift knob, I did change the steering wheels. Now, I love the other steering wheel, but this is a flat dish wheel, and it puts it a lot closer to the turn signal stalks and other things. And I really like the look of this wheel. I wish it didn't have red stitching, but it's all I could really find that fit the bill. Another thing I added was this cup holder. Now, my dad had this left over from a Volkswagen, but he had bought it online. You can get these on eBay or Amazon. They're pretty cheap, and it works perfectly for having your drink right there. The shift knob, again, I still love it. It works perfectly. I did some more little dress-up items, like changing out these bolts for these anodized ones. And the other night, I took off my headache bar so that I could just clean it up and maybe repaint it, but now that I've got it off, I really like it without it. I saw online where somebody used these mounting points to mount a bar and put bike holders, and I think that's what I'm going to build for this. So that will be a build I'll show later, because really I like how clean it looks without the bar. Now, you just saw me make these in the video. They have been holding on strong. The only thing I've changed is I put a zip tie through the middle of the chain. That way, when you take the chain off, these don't just fall off. They stay in place. And all you have to do is slide it through the weave and zip it on there. This is still a great upgrade. I never hear the chains rattle anymore. I've done a couple more things to the truck that I'll show in the next video. One is those, and the other is that right there. But for now, I'm just going to finish up this video right here. Thanks for following along. The next one will come out a lot sooner, as long as this car in front of me's engine stays good. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and if you want a sneak peek at the wheels that I have on this right now, you can head on over to my Instagram. But thanks for following. Bye-bye.